Are you thinking about joining the Air Force but don't know where to start? Well, let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I've been in the Air Force for about 12 years. I started active duty. I did 7.5 years of active duty time. Then I went to the Guard for about 2 years, and I went to the Reserves. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about how to join the Air Force, even if you're trying to go active duty, Reserves, or Guard. Joining the military has a lot of steps, and it's very confusing. A lot of people don't know where to start, especially if your family has never been in the military. When I started, my family had never been in the military here in the U.S., and I didn't know where to start. I didn't have friends that were military. I didn't have a lot of people to ask questions of. Thankfully, during that time, I was working at the airport for TSA, and I had some coworkers that were prior military, and they were telling me about the benefits they got, and I saw benefits they got through TSA having the military time. Like when I started from 0 federal time. When they started, because they were prior service, they got all that seniority and they were getting better schedules than me right away. So if you're thinking about having a federal career, joining the military or any other branch will give you more years of service if you transfer over to a federal job later on. I have another friend joined with me. He got out of the military and then he went back to college, and they got a GS position. And because he did military time, all that time got added to his salary and his time in service within the GS structure. The first thing you got to do is see your situation of why you want to join the Air Force. A lot of times you have financial issues, a lot of times you have criminal issues or other things that do not allow you to get a job in the civilian side. So a lot of people try to join the military, but that's not going to help you join the military. The 3 most important things you got to have when you join the military is have a clean record, be physically fit, and also have a good medical condition. If you have bad in any of those areas, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to join, and also the recruiters are not going to be willing to work with you if you have a lot of problems. Whenever you decide to join the Air Force, the easiest thing to do is go to the Air Force website, go to the Connect link at the top, and then put your zip code. It will ask you if you want to join the Reserves, active duty, the National Guard, and then it asks you for your zip code, so that way it gives you the recruiters around the area that are the ones in charge for whatever you want to do. Once you do that, then connect with them. If they are close to you, the best thing to do is go to their office and see if you can catch them in the office, because a lot of times these recruiters, there's only a couple of them in the area and they're slammed with phone calls, emails, and they're always backlogged. But if you're there in person, it's hard for them to not give you information or talk to you while you're there. When I was trying to join, I did active duty, and with active duty, at least in Texas, I was in Houston, there were several recruiters within my area. So I just went down to the office, and sometimes the recruiters are not the most helpful people to begin with. So during that time, I talked to one recruiter. He was very rude. So I was like, okay, thank you. Have a good day. And I went off to a different recruiter. And the other recruiter wasn't there. So then the Navy recruiter tried to recruit me. And I was trying to go to the Air Force and not the Navy. So then I left that office and I went to find another recruiter. And the third recruiter actually was very helpful. Started a process with him, and I didn't do any paperwork with any of the other recruiters because I wanted to make sure I had the right person to work with first. After talking with him and asking him questions, and me not being military at all, I took the ASVAB and I took the practice one at the office, and then I studied for a little bit, and then I took the real one, and I did pretty good because at that time I had just finished my associate's degree, so I had a lot of information still pretty fresh. If you haven't really studied, there's a lot of ways to study for your ASVAB. It's just like taking the SAT or ACT. You can buy some flashcards, you can buy books, you can buy training programs, you can do study.com to freshen up on the areas that the ASVAB will test you on. Once you take your official test and you get the ASVAB scores, then you'll meet up with your recruiter, and then he'll tell you to fill out a sheet with the jobs that you want to do based on the scores that you qualify for. So if you want to do maintenance, or if you want to do cybersecurity, or if you want to do medical stuff, it all has different scores based on the ASVAB. And if you qualify, then you can put it down on your sheet based on preference. And at this point is whenever the recruiter is going to start looking for jobs for you. If you go to the Air Force Reserves or the Guard, you will go to the recruiter that's for the base that you want to go to, and they will see what jobs they have available at that base based on your scores. So he'll tell you what jobs they have available, and then you'll see what jobs you want to take at that point. So with the reserves and the guard, it's a little bit different because you are limited to the jobs that are at that base. If you want a specific job that's not at that base, maybe they can transfer you to a different base, a different location that has that specific job. But usually you'll work with that recruiter for that base. Once you're at that part of the application, then you'll start reporting every month, every week or so. They'll be checking in, see if you're still good, see if you haven't had any changes based on your application whenever you did it. And once you accept the job, you'll enter the delayed entry program. And at this point, you're basically just waiting for a boot camp date. During the delayed entry program, it could be several months out, several weeks out, or it could be just a couple days based on the job and the availability for boot camp slots. Once you do that, then you go to boot camp, and then you'll just follow the steps there. Go to tech school, and then you'll be doing the on-the-job training for your job, and that's basically how you join the Air Force for that side. If you want to be an officer, it's a little bit different. You have to talk to the officer recruiter, and then you have to have your bachelor's, and you have to take the AFOQT. Or if you're some kind of specialized job, like a nurse, a doctor, you'll go directly into that position in the military based on the process. For the officers, it's going to take a lot longer. Depending on what your job is, it can take a year or 2 years to go to boot camp because OTS is very limited on spots. And depending on what the need is for the Air Force at that time, they'll prioritize other jobs based on the availability of slots. So to recap, you just go to the Air Force website and go to the Connect, put your zip code, find a recruiter, and then contact them as much as you can. Then once you contact them, you'll start a process. Just follow the checklist. And the best thing to do is just to be honest. One of the worst things you can do in your application is lie. So don't lie, but also you don't have to tell them every little detail in your life. So a lot of times you will disqualify yourself just by talking too much. If you have a good recruiter, they will guide you along the process, and they'll tell you what answers they're expecting and what things you should expect when you go to MEPS, to get medically cleared and all that stuff. Listen to your recruiter, and also be honest with your recruiter. The recruiter is the only person in the military who's there to recruit you, and try to get you in the Air Force, and they want to get those numbers in. So you disqualifying yourself is not in their best interest, but also you want to do your research and make sure that you are getting in the job that you want. Don't let the recruiters push you into a job that you don't want. Maybe they will offer you other jobs that are not in your dream sheet. Be open to them. My job as a 4-H, I did not have in my dream sheet at all. I had a really high score on mechanical and math and all those things. And I had turbine mechanic, hydraulic mechanic. I had all these kind of mechanics on there. And because I had my associate's degree, I was the only person in his office that qualified for the medical job, the 4-H. So it opened a new door for me that I didn't think about. So I talked to him about it, and I was like, hey, what is this job? I did some research, just like you guys are doing research right now. Then I got back to him, and I was like, okay, I'll take the job. I took the job, and now I'm here. I've been in 12 years. I like the job. So being open-minded can also help you in the recruiting process, and also it can open doors for you that you never knew were available. So the biggest thing is don't lie, be honest with yourself about why you're joining, and just follow the steps. Doing your research before you get to a recruiter is very important too, so that way you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, and you're not like, I don't know what I want to do, and you just go open general. So do not go open general. The best thing to do is to wait for a job that you like, because if you join the military and you go open general and you don't like the jobs that you get in boot camp, then it's not the recruiter's fault. It's your fault for not waiting. But also don't let the recruiter push you into, hey, we've been waiting for too long and it's time for you to pick. I would give him maybe a month, maybe 2 months to see what jobs cycle through his office and see what jobs you can pick. So every month the recruiter gets new jobs that were not filled at another office. So they kind of share jobs. So once the recruiter has his list of jobs at his office and he doesn't fill it, then the next month he'll get new ones, and then this ones will go somewhere else. So that way, that's how the Air Force keeps jobs random, and that way you don't get the same jobs from the same state or the same recruiter, right? So every month the jobs will cycle through. So whenever he gets a job, then he'll be like, hey, I have your number 5, but I don't have your number 1, so are you interested? You can deny the jobs, but if you keep denying every job, then the recruiter will be less likely to work with you to find you a job. So if you put the jobs on the list, it's because you're interested on the list. And if he keeps offering jobs that are on your list, he's expecting you to say yes or to be interested in those jobs. So don't put jobs in there just to fill jobs, because at the end of the day, it will hurt you by putting jobs that you're not interested in there. And then he's going to be fighting with you because you're not picking a job. So whenever you put your jobs in there, he'll give you jobs. If he gives you a job that you're not expecting, maybe like it's a job that you qualify for because you have an associate's degree or something, then think about it. It might be a good opportunity to do some research and think about possible things that you had not expected before. Well, that's like a big picture of how to join the Air Force. And if you have any other questions, send me an email and I will answer as best as I can. You can put it in the comments below, and also check out my website, send me an email there. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll be putting more videos like this, so that way you guys can get more informed about the Air Force. So if it's something that you are interested in, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.